this is Bridget and I'm here in Glastonbury. As you can see, the tour is behind me, and this is one of the most sacred sites on Earth. Probably one of the most magical sites on Earth. It's a chakra point. The energy is pouring down. It just radiates that energy. You can feel it. It feels to me like Mount Shasta a little bit, but it has that magical quality. It has that underbelly of shadow and darkness in a way, and also some of the lightest light I've experienced. So it's an amazing mix of the two energies. And as I've been here, I've just been tuning in and feeling like, what is the essence of this place? And for me, what I've come to feel is that it is the story keeper. It is the record holding place of the collective story, of the human collective story. It's like the meeting place of all the archetypes. We've got like King Arthur, Guinevere, Merlin, and this dark and light shadow of like the witchcraft energy. And it's just the place where all of these colors and characters come together that write the story of humanity, layers upon layers of history that's happened here. As far as what I wanted to talk to you about today in this video is all about the throat, because this is connected to the throat chakra. This is that place where the energy is coming in on this planet. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, this energy of the throat chakra. One of my great friends, Ruth, we were just in Ireland on the Ireland adventure together, and she was asking me about the throat chakra because we were coming to Glastonbury, and she said, well, have you always just kind of like been exuberant and expressive, or was that ever a thing for you? And I guess I haven't ever like told my story of awakening. I've always just kind of said, here I am, I'm talking now. But I want to kind of take you through my journey to show that you can come from a closed space and then open all the way up. So I've always had a pretty bright personality, but as far as public speaking and as far as speaking my truth, those were things that I didn't do, that I really wasn't that connected to. So my throat chakra was one of the things that was really closed upon coming into this life. That was one of my life themes, kind of the sacral chakra and the throat chakra being the most significantly closed. It was part of kind of the cultural story in which I was born into, with conservative Christian woman, don't speak your truth, as well as connected to this magic energy where it's like you feel like if you speak your truth then you'll be killed. And so there's also this other life energy tied into it too, and it's an amazing potent part of our cultural story, is this idea of like the woman's suppression as well as like that magic, pagan wisdom keeping suppression. And it's really not true anymore. We're not necessarily going to be killed anymore unless, Snowden's not even being killed for speaking his truth. So we're doing a lot better in the collective, and we can really relax those other lives that's happened. So that's one of the things, is like, okay, the other lives aren't imposing anymore. You can speak your truth, you can speak your wisdom, whatever amazing things you're getting, and there will be someone to listen. There will be someone to receive you. So just kind of seeing how it streams back from your past is a great way to start looking at it. Is like, where does this come from? Does it come from like my culture that I was brought up in? Does it come from these other lives? And then going, okay, great. Well, this is now, and this is me, so then how do I express? So one of my challenges was actually public speaking. I was so scared of public speaking, and when I was younger, I wasn't a great reader, and so we would have to do the popcorn thing where you go around the circle and you read out loud, and I was petrified. It was the worst thing to me ever. So this idea of speaking out loud and reading out loud was totally petrifying. And so what did I do? Well, one, I acknowledged it. So I was like, okay, this is a scary thing for me. And so what can I do now to shift it? And so over the years, I've just acknowledged it, and I've taken every opportunity to begin to practice speaking, such as things like as I took a speech class in college, and just starting to speak and starting to put myself out there, even if I was to freeze, even if something was to happen. And that's the thing, is like your worst fear could come up. Maybe you forget everything that you're gonna say, maybe you fumble over your words, but the thing is you just have to start. You just have to start somewhere, and maybe start with an audience, start with your family, start with your friends, speaking about something in just small groups, and let that begin to flow. And for me, it wasn't only just in the big, speaking to a group thing that was scary for me. It was speaking to my truth to like on a personal level, on a vulnerable level. And I feel like it's likely both with most people. And so say with guys that I was dating and such, I couldn't actually say what I wanted to say because I was scared that they wouldn't like me, or I couldn't express what I truly needed and what I really wanted. And so finally, again, on this journey of really expressing myself and knowing it was something I wanted to open, this guy I dated a few years ago, I finally was just I called him up, and our little dating didn't end very well, and I was like, I'm going to say how I feel. I don't care if he thinks I'm stupid. I don't care if he never wants to talk to me again. I'm going to express myself. And so I was just vulnerable, and I used that vulnerability as power. And from that place, I spoke my truth for the first time on a personal level, and I just cried, and I expressed myself, and luckily he really received me, and he heard me. Now, some of the time you're not going to have the best people on the other end of the line, like maybe it's your dad you haven't talked to in years, or your mom, and there's a little bit of a challenge, but at least just going about it and speaking it. And maybe before you actually verbalize it, starting to write it down would be a great way to do it, starting to just get it out there, expressed, moving. And then another way would be then to maybe record yourself talking or speak out loud to the mirror and just begin to get that energy to really flow. And with any of this stuff, it's where does it originate? And at the core, what is the feeling that is prohibiting you from this expression? Because speaking your truth and this throat chakra idea is your expression in the world, how it manifests with sound out loud. Say from the heart, it's not, you just kind of emanate the heart. The voice is something that is actually speaking, it's something that can then be reflected to you. So it has more of an instantaneous fear reflection, because you might say something and someone automatically just totally puts you down. And whereas if you're radiating your heart, it might not be as obvious. So that might be one of the things. And it's okay, what is it that you're scared of? Complete annihilation, or complete not being heard, right? Not being received, not being supported. That would be exactly kind of why you would have the fear that you're not going to be loved. And really, if we go back to the idea that the most important and the most real thing that we can do is love ourselves. Really, in this life, we're honestly just having a relationship with ourselves. So it really first starts with just wanting to hear you speak and not needing it to then do anything back to you, not needing your reality to reflect back to you anything. So starting there would be the most nurturing and most beautiful way to begin. And so just speaking to yourself, maybe talking out loud, talking in the mirror, like I said, it might not need to be anything intellectual or something specific. It might just be that your voice needs to sing, maybe just to hum, maybe just to ohm, something to just start. And so from that place of starting, you can begin to hear your own self and love and receive your own self for what you're saying or what sounds you're making. And then as that begins to feel more comfortable, that maybe in the intimate surroundings with you, like your relationships, you can start then saying it to those people you feel comfortable with. Sometimes it's actually the people that we're closest to that we don't feel comfortable with speaking. So maybe it would be to go to a group of complete strangers and start there, which is pretty interesting. So for me, over my evolution, did the speech class, was very aware of it, had some thresholds where I was working for a company doing marketing and I had to speak out loud and pitch, so I went through these things, and it's you have to put yourself out there and just start. And then over time, as I spoke my truth, it just opened and more confidence came. And even when I started these videos, again, even though I'm talking to the camera, you guys are going to be seeing me, and I did it for myself. I did my first video for me. It was a little journal entry. That's where it started. So really starting with you and not needing it to be anything else. Because then as it gets bigger, maybe as more people start seeing you and hearing you in whatever medium that you're using, it doesn't matter because it's just back to you. Like, even as you guys watch these videos, I so appreciate like all of the comments and the likes and the support. It feels amazing. And if no one was watching them, I would still feel good. I don't go back and like go, oh, did anyone like it or something? I honestly do it for myself and to hear myself speak. It's one of the exercises. There's also many mediums in which to express. The throat, the sound actually coming out of your voice is probably the most important. But also the expression can be something like writing. Like, I got to Glastonbury and the first thing I did was want to write, surprisingly. It was like, I just wanted to write. That's a form of expression. It might be painting. Whatever it is these expressions of yourself. And that would be part of it too, is it's like, what ways do you want to, and have you not allowed yourself to express? So think of some of those things that maybe you always did want to write, but you haven't yet. Or you always did want to sing, but you haven't yet. Or you wanted to paint, or whatever you wanted to do. It really comes down to expression and clarifying what that is, and then starting to take baby steps in that direction. So I hope this has been helpful. It's fun to kind of like think back and be like, whoa, I've come a long ways. I was like scared to death of saying anything. And now I just was with a group of 20 and leading and orchestrating us, co-creating together. And there's no fear anymore. It's gone. So it really does take your own investment, your own threshold crossing through the fear to step into this new space of expression in yourself. And the idea is you're not going to be killed this time. And there's plenty of Facebook groups. There's plenty of mediums in which you will be received. You will be honored and liked for what you have to say, what you have to create. If there's something that you have to give, there's someone that totally needs to receive it. So just remember that. And if you like videos like this, comment below, like below. Speaking your truth from Glastonbury, do something today in which you express yourself. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.